I've had my Tesla Model Y for 2 years and 20,000 miles, and I'm not really that big on accessorizing things because I think the car is pretty great as it is. The only accessories that I've installed are a non-glare screen protector and all-weather floor mats. But there is one more accessory that I need now that I'm driving in the summer and parking my car out where I work, and it gets hot during the day. So I'm investing in a sunshade. I'm going to show you how to install it and give you my review coming up. So this sunshade is from Tesmanian, and look at that, it has a nice little zippered pouch that it comes in, and that way in the winter when I don't need to use it, I can just put it back in there. And it's one of these things that are kind of like spring-loaded, and you just kind of untwist it, and there it is. And here's the clips that hold it around the top. By the way, this thing doesn't come with any instructions, and there's no instructions online. So this will be a good reference for you. If you do, go ahead and buy this product. Now, one thing is that the car, the roof, is not a perfect square. The back is narrower than the front. So what you want to do is first identify, and I can see right here that this is wider. So this end, which happens to be where it says Model Y shade, that's going to go towards the front. And the other thing to note is there's no top or bottom. You can put it in either direction. But I do recommend unfolding it first, not unfolding it in the car, and then open the trunk and insert it from the back. Now the shade comes with 8 of these clips and 2 magnets. The clips are no adhesive, no nothing. They're just friction fit. And it does take a little bit of time. There are 8 of them. You put 2 on either flat end. You don't go too close to the corners. I seem to have dropped a clip. And of course, it's next to the seat. Now, it's not hitting me in the head, but you can definitely see how far down it is hanging, which makes sense. And that's why they include the magnets, so that you can keep it up. Actually, I recommend installing it like this first, so that you can see where yours is sagging the most. Now, if you left it like this, probably the fabric would loosen up even more and sag further. So, but I think it's a good idea because that way you can tell exactly where you want to put the dots. Like for me, I'm going to put the first one right between the 2 front seats. I think that's probably a good spot. And then the other one, splitting the difference between the 2 from here to the back. So maybe a foot behind that. Now these little dots are peel and stick. The brown side is the peel and stick that's going to go on the glass. The other side is actually a blue protective film that I'm going to leave on there until I actually get them up on the ceiling. Well, taking it out is actually easier than putting it in. Now this has to be perfect. If it's not centered right, it'll annoy me. But getting it centered is the hard part. That actually doesn't look bad. Obvious question is going to be, I wonder how long that self-stick is going to last in the hot sun. Okay, I'm calling it. It's easiest to do from the back seat. That's not bad at all. I mean, certainly there's a little sag here, but what are you going to do? I mean, you can get extras of these. They sell them separately if you really want to, but I don't think for the summer it's going to be that big of a deal. Now this came in the bag too, and honestly, I have no idea what it's for. Ah, so my power of deduction tells me that these little loops on here mean you can put this reflective shade on top of the shade in the car, and completely eliminate, as in black out and reflect all the sun's rays if you really need to do that. I'm not going to do that right away. I don't know that I'll ever do that, but it's nice to have. And it's nice, I can just store the case right underneath there until I need to take it down in the fall. So I've been using the sunshade for about 3 weeks now. I park my car in the sun when I'm at work. And has it helped? Well, yes, actually it has. But not necessarily to keep the car cooler. So for example, today was up to 93 degrees outside, and the car still got close to, the max I've ever seen it was about 120 before I put the sunshade in. Today it got up to 116 degrees, a little bit cooler. But what it does is it actually cuts down on the radiant heat that might build up on the seats and on the steering wheel and things like that. That's one good thing. The other good thing that I actually like is that if the sun is right over my head, I could feel that on my head when it was coming through the glass. That doesn't happen anymore, obviously, because it has a sunshade. So that is a good thing. All right, there you can see the view from the very back, actually behind the back seat, and you can see what it looks like on the ceiling here. It's not like a normal headliner because obviously it doesn't fit tight, but with those magnets in the middle, it does a pretty good job. It's certainly not hitting me in the head. It's not hitting anybody else in the head. My son sat in the back seat, and the first thing he said was, "Dad, that thing is ugly." You know, he's a purist. He likes things to be exactly the way the designers wanted them to be. So maybe it's ugly, but it is functional. However, there is another benefit that I was not expecting, and that is it actually acts like a sound absorption, right? Because it's fabric, it absorbs some of the sound that would get bounced off of that big sheet of glass on the roof. And, you know, a lot of people have said that the Tesla is a very noisy car. That's one way to actually help that. So I wasn't expecting that benefit, but it's a nice thing to have. So would I recommend it? Yes, I would actually. If you're looking for a sunshade, I think this one is good. I think it fits well, even though it doesn't hold tight. That's to be expected. None of the sunshades on the market are going to hold tight to the glass. I mean, think about it. They're all suspended from the edges. So that's just the way it is. So I think in the interim, this is a great solution, especially for the summer. I only need it for a few months, and then I can take it down and enjoy that panoramic view for the rest of the year. But I'll put a link to it down in the video description. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.